Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising such notice in the Home News Tribune, the Asbury Park Press, the Board Office, the schools, Cablevision Channel 118, Verizon Fios Channel 24, and by filing such notice with the Township Clerk. Meeting was scheduled for Wednesday, July 9th, and the Board will take formal action on supplies, equipment, services, and other agenda items. Mr. Mara?
The Old Bridge Township Board of Education acknowledges that the law of this state establishes that members of the public, including members of the board, have the right to record public board meetings using audio or video recording devices, provided that that act of recording does not interfere with the business of the public board meeting. Therefore, the board makes it known that any such recording is to be considered a private recording of the individual and in no manner represents the official record of the board. The board therefore takes no responsibility for such private recording and completely disavows any future use.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, Mr. Mara?
Porcelli?
Here.
DePrima?
Here.
Dunn? Hartman?
Here.
Lundgren?
Here.
Singh?
Yes.
Silikowski? Weber?
Here.
Quorum exists.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, it's now time in the agenda for hearing of residents. Since I see no hands, we will move to the next section. Supplies, equipment, and services, number 9. I have a motion to move the board record bids received on July 8th, 2014 for a fire damper project.
So.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. DePrima. I need a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Singh, second.
Any reason we're not doing both items together?
1 and 2.
We are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 1 and 2. Any discussion?
Are these the same companies that did last time?
Yes. Except for that one.
No, he rebid, and his bid went up $60,000.
Oh, so it's still him, Epic.
Yeah, it's still Epic, yeah.
So he corrected his mathematical
Yes.
calculation.
Just for going forward, for my own education, I understand it was a mistake on his part, but can you be held to that? Like, no, can you?
I could have held him to it,
Oh, you could have.
but I think it's bad business.
Okay.
He'll nickel and dime us to death, I think, with everything that is slightly different. And I just don't want to be working
And he
with
was so far off that it was an obvious.
Yes, yeah.
And this is a time-sensitive project, too.
Yes, yes.
So you don't want to...
I know, I just, my own, cause like if I go to a supermarket and something's marked $2 and it's supposed to be $4, I'm gonna get it for
No, I
$2.
clearly could have
Okay.
held him to that, but I
know.
think that's bad business.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? No? Then roll call, Mr. Mayor.
Porcelli? Yes. DePrima?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Lundgren?
Yes.
Singh?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Thank you. Hearing of the residents on any item, any district school item. Okay, seeing no hands. Old business, any board members? New business? I have,
Argentina want to shoot out.
yes, I waited
That's a new
to
business.
leave to come here.
So did I.
Well, actually, Netherlands lost the shootout, but we could pick over that. But anyway, Gwen Thornton has contacted me 2 or 3 times about the self-evaluations, and we need to do them.
Not the self-evaluation.
I'm sorry, the
Superintendent.
Right.
Okay.
and she told me 2 people as of now, and then Nancy told me she completed hers. So there's 3 of us that have completed, and the rest of us have not. So we need to finish that, and I'm just as guilty because I'm in the not party.
Okay.
She sent me another notice with instructions. If you need instructions, did you happen to get my?
I think I forwarded it. Did you send it to me and Joanne?
I did, but I didn't know who was working
It
today,
should
so.
be in your packet, the instructions.
I asked them to print off.
No, written.
Yeah.
My email was not in the database, so they didn't send me an email.
I think.
Yeah, no, we don't, it was, and we don't know why,
Uh-huh.
what happened.
So I emailed them and they emailed you, CC'd it to you, so I think it should be fixed by now.
We'll email it to you, maybe we missed it today.
The instructions,
Well,
could you, yeah, but they're
yeah.
having trouble with their email, so.
No, just Mr. Singh is.
But I think I can't get into their website because I'm not in their system.
Don't you have to register for the
No,
first time?
No.
we registered you, and we don't know why you were not able to get in. And I thought it was fixed. Have you tried to get in since we
I
emailed?
tried to get in before even that email, but it just kicks me out because my email is not in their database,
Okay.
so they don't recognize me.
Well, they didn't have Nancy's, and that's 2
That
years
happened
now.
to me too, but then they fixed it.
But they fixed it on their end. So, can you
Yeah,
can
we're
we get
working
in
on it.
touch with,
Yes.
okay, I can get in touch with you.
So,
Just so that you know, then on another note, Annette has said that there's several emails that are coming in Joanne's office that I know I have. And I checked that they went to everyone, but she's not getting them.
I got them on my iPad, but I didn't get them on my computer, and I spoke to Joanne today. And she told me the only emails that she really sent,
The special meeting.
Right,
Or
but she
for the
sent one
special
yesterday,
meeting.
yeah.
that was it.
that was it, yeah, there really
Yeah,
Yeah,
hasn't
other
been
than
much.
that, there was nothing other than June, so.
You're not
Yeah,
getting
checked
them
it
on
again.
your OBHS?
My computer,
or
on my
PS?
home computer, I was getting them on the iPad, but Barry, whatever he fixed, it
Okay.
came up. Came up tonight.
Going back to the evaluation, I forget exactly how it was handled last year, and I don't know, what is the process? So completing the online, so Dave completed his evaluation. We went through that, gave our comments and so on.
Mhm.
Do we discuss this as a board at any point? Or what is the steps that typically should be happening with this?
Let me say this, last year, we did it very, very late because we did
Yes.
it after Tim was gone.
Yes.
So we didn't do it normally last year.
Do we have a date? It seems like we've done it different ways,
Yes.
different times.
I think
And
with
one
the
year, I
change-
don't think we even did it at all.
You know,
But I
When
think with
Mr.
the change
Bosco,
of the
Dr.
election,
Bosco was
it's like,
here.
with the change of the election, everything is all messed
Yeah.
up as to when you're
Yeah.
supposed to do
Yeah.
what. But I think if Dave put, what Gwen said is Dave put his goals in.
Uh-huh.
See, I didn't even know that this was coming. I didn't know that it was out there for you. And then once he does it, I think you can do the evaluation, and you're all eligible to do the evaluation.
Right.
Right, but
Well,
Kevin's,
Are we supposed to discuss the goals
I think we
and?
should be
Yeah.
discussing it, and I
Yes.
think this is very important.
That's
It
a
is,
good
and that's
point,
what
but
we
as far
normally
as
do.
the survey online, that's your personal.
That's your personal,
That's
so
your-
what I'm
Right.
asking is,
No, yeah,
we
of course.
complete this, and what next steps do we need to take, right? So that we make sure we complete the.
Right, you might feel he
Right steps,
didn't
right.
accomplish this, and I might say he did, and
Right.
we gotta see why
I
he
suggest you
didn't.
talk to the New Jersey school boards, because they're running the program,
Exactly.
they should
Yeah.
know how it should be.
Right.
But I know that we have discussed in the past the goals and objectives that the superintendent.
Okay,
Right.
so, right, so.
but those are different, whether they completed one goal as opposed to setting new goals are two different.
We had
In
the
two
board
different things.
retreat in
Yes,
February.
that's right.
In the handouts there, it states that we're supposed to evaluate by June 30th, and that the superintendent should be Rice, and we should have a meeting. And I know we've done that when Dr. Bosco was
Yes, we did.
superintendent. Do you remember
But
that?
not it wasn't every year either, since I've been on.
Well,
So-
I think we should get into I think it's important to the district for us to get into the habit of doing that. I think that's
Well,
important.
you're obligated to do it by saying,
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
Okay.
do we do that? Is your suggestion to do it in the summer?
Well, I think the suggestion is first that, as you mentioned, everybody completes their
Right.
evaluation. And then maybe either August or September, we kind of get together.
and again, I would refer to the New
Yeah,
Jersey school boards,
okay.
we shouldn't be reinventing a wheel on a process that they.
Right, but I know we did
Yeah.
do it in the past. We did exactly what you're talking about,
Okay.
exactly when it was.
And when you did it, did you set new goals for the next year or discuss, I mean, the superintendent should be setting those goals for
Well,
himself, right?
that was the whole thing.
Well,
He
We're
did it.
He said
evaluating the
that.
goals that he set.
No, I understand
That's
that.
different.
Yeah, goals, that's a
So-
different process.
No, I understand that. So the first part is to evaluate on the goals that were set, right? For this
If we
past
achieve
school
the
year.
goals that
The
were
next
set.
step is to set goals for the coming school year,
Yeah.
right?
Right, he sets the goals and then,
And then we discuss as a board, do
We
we
set
agree
the
with
goals
that?
in
Yes.
February at the
Right.
retreat, and now he, in his evaluation, he responded to how he But Chief.
Even that though, February, school
Right,
years.
but that was because we
60%
were
out.
waiting for new
That's-
board members.
that's- yeah,
That's why
yeah,
that
yeah,
changed
right.
everything.
So
We
even when
s-
the election was then in April, you still did it the same way. You still did it in June. So there's two ways to look at it.
But yeah, June, that's for the coming year.
I'm not saying that. If you hear from November, if the new board members hear from November, they actually have more time than if they're in April.
Okay.
They
So-
have more time to learn to work with the current sitting superintendent than they would when it was in April. In April, they're coming in April and expect to do an evaluation for a year that's ending 3 months later.
So to Frank's
But you're not
point-
in November, you're not in until January, even though you may be aware and
No,
you're
I'm talking
involved.
about under the old system.
Mhm.
There was a discussion previously about how November was a big change. It actually gives you more time between the election and June than you have between April and June.
True.
Now, to Frank's point, maybe going back to New Jersey school boards and confirming what the process should be, and maybe we should ask Glenn, you know, what is the New Jersey School Boards Association's recommendation for setting those goals? Should we be doing it in September? Should we be doing it in February when we have new board members?
Goals get-
Potentially new board members?
The goals get set at the retreat in January. The retreat is gonna be a
For the
regular.
following
But
year.
it's not the goal.
Talking about setting a meeting for the evaluation.
Right.
That's
Right,
what we're
we-
talking
yeah.
about.
Now, under the old rules, the superintendent by statute and by regulation and also by our policy had to be evaluated by the board by April 30th.
Correct.
So that's where things have not been redefined as to what we do. And I think in my last district, I believe they refused to do the online evaluations. So they all did hard copies, handed the hard copies to the president. President and the board went into executive session and discussed it, and then they had a meeting with the superintendent.
I think we did that one year too,
Yes,
if I'm
we
not
did.
mistaken.
But then
That's
they changed it to
probably,
online.
then they
Then
changed
they
it to
changed
online,
it to
but
online.
Keyport refused to do the online, so you can still,
Now, the April 30th thing made sense then, because in theory, since most boards weren't reorganized much before then, in theory, the current and sitting board members, rather than the new members, would not be, the new member wouldn't be evaluating in that first part of the year.
that's correct. Because he would be, the new
Which is a
appointment would be
concern
right
we
after
could pass
the
on the New Jersey School Board to say, hey, we'd like to have the evaluation realigned. The problem is, you got a school year now that runs from September to June,
Right.
and you put somebody in November, no matter what you do, you're not gonna make it work. I mean, it's not, I think your idea would, if we get New Jersey School Board, if we could be a district that recommends they consider moving the school election to the June primary. Gotta start somewhere, then we just make a proclamation. Because the big thing they cited, I mean, they want more people to come out, and clearly more people come out in November than they do for the June primary. But if they're talking about it just being a big factor of saving money, then June is fine.
Then June's fine, since it's already an election, right?
Correct.
I mean,
And it makes more sense to align the evaluation process.
and, well, June you have primaries for political parties, but, one of the other arguments is for keeping
Well,
it in April,
November's a
I think, is to
political
keep
election too,
the
though.
parties away from it. in
Yeah,
April.
but November's a political.
No,
election.
November, I'm
So-
saying April, when it was originally April,
Right.
was one of the reasons, the arguments for keeping it in April, and I know there's a handful of districts that keep it in April because
Yeah,
we
most
want
of
to
them,
keep away from
most of them
political
come
parties.
over, I think, man. Very few
Yeah.
left.
No, there's still some out there. There's
Yeah,
still,
I mean-
I think New Brunswick,
Well, New Brunswick wasn't an appointed district?
No, but New-
Type 1?
was it, somebody in Middlesex, the town,
There's two towns in Middlesex, I don't know.
no, the town actually made a decision that they moved to November over the objection of the board. So,
They could do that.
yeah, no, they can.
I mean, even the reorganization, you get sworn in and then 2 minutes later, you're voting for a president and a vice president.
That's the same, though, that hasn't
Same.
changed.
That didn't
That would-
change.
That's been the way forever, so.
That was always the way it was.
Before you get sworn in, you get sworn in on April 30th, right after 2 weeks after the
They used to
election, you
do-
get sworn in.
But see, they used to do their reorg then in May, which almost made a little bit more sense because
Yeah, at least you have
you're,
one
Ready
vote.
for
you're setting your new committees for the new school year.
I mean,
essentially.
chances
Now
are,
if
if you're
we're
newly
in the
elected,
middle of
you
the school
know
year, we're
the
changing our
players
committees.
anyway.
Well, one of the biggest differences is the timelines. In other words, if you're elected in the end of March or April, however that worked out with the election dates, you were sworn in within 2 weeks. Now, the election is in November, and you're still not seated until January.
Right.
So that there's a longer period of time in there. So if we could use that as a transition. But since you're not sworn in, then you can't go into executive session, and you can't do that anyway. So it ties everybody's hands.
And plus, you still have a number of districts that are having their election in April.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what happened, so their reorg is the same, everything hasn't changed for them like it has for us. So they're still living by the old rules, which were more orderly, like you're saying, because the board that was evaluating the superintendent was there for a year.
Right.
Now it's a little bit difficult.
All right, well, I have a phone call out to Gwen, I will email her with the other questions and with a possibility of a June primary and see where that goes, and I'll let you know how that works
And
out.
I just forwarded the email that Donna asked me to bring hard copies to all of you. So it has some guides in there on how to do the online evaluation.
But their ID numbers are not on there. You'd have to go back either to a very old email, which you might not have, or go through and have to put in a new password or follow whatever directions there are for the new one. And if that doesn't work, we'll get in touch with Glenn and we'll get you a new ID.
You can't just do, forgot my password? Like they have
I
all your
think you
email.
can now.
Well, if you go there,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
put
sure.
on the password, then they will ask you, they'll stop you that, you know, if you're not, if you're a member, board member, you can't.
No, something is wrong with yours and we don't know what's wrong. We're trying to figure yours out, but everybody else has had access, right?
What they recognize is what he said is his email address, so forget my password, it's not gonna
That's
help.
what happened to me. They didn't recognize my email address, and I called Diane Morris. She had me still listed as BA, so they fixed that, you know, and then it recognized my email, and then I was able to log in, so.
That's the other day or so.
Any other old business, new business, in between business? Go to the order from anybody, or we want to call it a night?
They're gonna close it.
Would you really? Then make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Go into closed session?
No, to get out.
Joy, Sarah, you'll be the only one there.
All those in favor? Aye.
Who seconded the?
All of us.
Everybody.
Pick
I,
one.
Pick somebody.
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Thanks
Thank
everyone
you.
for coming, I
Stop
appreciate
putting
it.
Matt's name down, it's not here. I don't want to know that.